Ouchies Batreps would like to remind you to leave your trays and seats in their fully upright and locked positions when the ordnance is being delivered. Which is pretty much all the time, the way I play. A trial of grievance has been issued against the Visigoth pilot of the previous mission, and not willing to see their best pilot in recent memory go down to a petty squabble, a clan garrison unit has been sent to circumvent this and hopefully make their forces stronger in the long run for it. Acting as judge, jury, and executioner, and seeking to procure clan honor, Clan Chromium Pigeon throws their weight in, with the assistance of some Taurian raiders who would hopefully gain a little bit of clan tech out of the exchange. We're playing the Domination scenario again. We're hoping to continue playtesting it so that it is an airtight scenario, and when it is, we will produce the rules in a document for everyone else so that it's, easy to work with. Battlereports wins the initiative and forces us to place our objective in the center of the map. We go ahead and put it in the middle of that 6-hex building in the center because we've got a lot of good good infantry, so we can afford to do it, while the Battlereports goes ahead and plays it far south on top of the hill. I suppose the Visigoth pilot is out there camping? Maybe? We really don't know. That information would be held pretty close to the chest, Do as we say, not as we do. This is the Jade Falcon motto. So I grant my friend up there a light lance to work with and all the infantry. I give her a very simple objective, since this is new for her, to just run fast. Whenever she can, get the highest to hit mod that she possibly can get, and that's a pretty safe way to play any kind of clan light lance. And then get up to the center of the buildings, and then drop off that infantry just as soon as you can, and we'll just let the infantry contest the objective for as long as we can while we move south to try to take on whatever is down there. Of course, my brother points out really quickly that the fireball is already on the objective, and I say, nope, it's not happening. We're not letting them get that objective. There's no way. So we immediately, first shots out of the game, we start unloading the explosives off the Blue Suns. I drop nearly half the tonnage of that mech in high explosive bombs and manage to do something like 10 points to it. He blows it off. He doesn't have much armor, but he can blow that off, but not the second salvo. The second Blue Sun from Green Group manages to tag him with nearly everything. Well, not everything, but about 60 points of damage, and it's enough to kill him. But you might have noticed in past games, I usually wait to deploy the air support because of this very particular problem. Now you've got a whole bunch of mechs that had nothing to shoot at in the previous turn or anything else to light up, and they start lighting up the aerospace fighters. They tag them multiple times. It is almost a disaster for Green Wing because he manages to fail a PSR and ends up at altitude 2, barely skirting the ground, all because the Vulture is actually a pretty decent anti-aircraft platform. He overheats doing it, but it was almost worth the trade. I was very close to lawn darting that fighter. The vast bulk of the Taurian and clan forces are rushing towards the town center. They realize just as much as we do that this is going to be the heart of the conflict. So at the top of turn 2, we have no points for either side, and we've just begun dumping our infantry on the target. The Taurians actually brought quite a bit of infantry too, but they're mechanized, and my brother had completely thought that they could ride on anything, which isn't true at all. They can only ride on Omnimax, and the Taurians, even though they might have mechanized infantry, they don't have many Omnimax to actually let them ride on. So they end up huffing it out in the field. They move 3 hexes, it's not bad, but, it's not as good as actual mechanized infantry. So my buddy's learning the rules, and she's doing a really good job of it. She's moving really fast. She picks up the Locust and snaps its leg off. She throws a lot of weight on it, and of course, wouldn't you know it, it's the one in the dainty, prancy little pose that breaks. Of course. I mean, this wouldn't be the first time it broke, but hey, what can you do? I mean, this thing was pinned. It had green stuff in the joints. I mean, it's the best, seal I could possibly do on it, but, the plans of mice and men, what can you do? With the fireball destroyed, it's left to the Dayashi, 2 Vultures, a Warhammer, and potentially even a Locust to take on the gold objective. Jade Falcon has perhaps overestimated the ability of their own units to take on all that firepower, because all they have is a Vulture C, a Nightwolf, and an Uller moving in with some infantry to help hold the position. On the northern end, towards the Juno objective, the infantry have moved into the building. They are contesting the objective. They have hopped off the Puma out there as other infantry are starting to pour out of the parking lot and into the building to secure the apartment building for Jade Falcon. The Taurians and the clan Chromium Pigeon doesn't quite have the movement points to go completely in there, so they're suffice it to say, they're just outside. They are not contesting the objective. With the mechs thinned out, and it's still very apparent that the mass of mechs is on the center edge of the board, the Wu Suns streak in again, using their high thrust profile, and now that they don't have bombs loading them down, they start picking out targets of opportunity, backshots mostly, coming in from the left side of the board. Despite being in a prime position, they actually don't do that much damage. They miss with nearly everything, tagging with maybe 2 medium lasers to separate between the 2 of them, and maybe a dozen SRMs. It's rather underwhelming considering their points cost. But on the southern end of the board, Clan Chromium Pigeon knows that this is an opportunity they're not going to get again, and they start opening up all the heat sinks, trying to take down that Vulture C as fast as they can, because there's not a whole lot that they can shoot at, and they have the option to pull back if they need to. And under the Withering Barrage, the Vulture C does manage to fail its PSR. It falls over, leaving the southern objective uncontested, not that it could have, and leaving the whole place a complete brouhaha. But with the northern objectives contested by Clan Jade Falcon, they're going to get 2 points for the turn. It's worth noting that we've lost initiative every turn. We can't win the initiative to save our life, and now that we're getting close, we need to win the initiative. So we go ahead and move the slowest things first. We start moving the Gauss Rifle Vulture up. He fails getting up twice, while the Nightwolf starts charging as fast as his asthmatic weight can do, up the hill towards the gold objective. It's a Dreadnought. It's got a lot of armor. I figure just like the infantry, it can at least soak up some shots for a couple turns. Meanwhile, on the northern objective, the Ryokan has decided to contest the objective by climbing on top of the building. It is now dealing with infantry that are literally right below it, and just plugging it with the Ultra Autocannon, but it can't seem to make it connect at all. Meanwhile, on the southern end, the Vultures have started harrying their prey, being just fast enough to be a complete nuisance to the Nightwolf. They're going to get back shots as well as flanking shots on it, but they're both overheating to some degree. The anti-aircraft platform actually is overheating a lot, pegging something like 15 on the heat scale, while the Uller swings in behind. That was the whole idea, to keep them lower in the initiative track so that they can eventually swing by and protect the Nightwolf. It's going to get back shots on the Vulture in front of it, but it's going to get shots on the Nightwolf, which could be much worse. So I go ahead and swing the air support down onto the southern objective. We're going to tag the Vulture that's tagging the back of the Nightwolf as much as we can, while we send the other Wusun a little north to try to take out one of the Locusts that are harrying the northern recon lines. On the southern objective, the Nightwolf is taking it like a champ, dishing it out just as bad as it's getting it, with both Vultures receiving double PSRs from the Uller and the air support. The Nightwolf is managing to tag the mess out of the Vulture right to its right, while the Dayashi and Warhammer begins making their presence felt as well. But it's not without consequence. The Nightwolf receives a double PSR on his own. It is a lot of firepower being flung around. As a matter of fact, his record sheet's looking pretty spotchy. I mean, it's practically filled in. But him and his buddy, the Vulture C, managed to fill the Vulture to the Nightwolf's right full of holes. His manages to give it not just a double PSR, but his heat is such that he falls over, the pilot goes unconscious, and he's left on the ground tending to his own wounds, while the Wu Sun manages to plug the Vulture to the Nightwolf's back, also full of holes, but it manages to weather it nonetheless. The Nightwolf falls down into the fusillade, but it's a pretty good exchange considering the Vulture is completely shut down and immobile, just a couple hexes away. Juno objective is turning into a disaster as the Locust 2 manages to take a couple shots that was just a few shots too many, and it loses its engine for it behind the tree line of where the apartment complex is. But the infantry are well entrenched in the building. They're staying on the far side of the building so that other mechs have to come all the way around to be able to deal any kind of damage to it. So that they're going to have a couple good turns of fire, and the Ryokan just can't seem to dislodge them. Top of turn 3, Clan Jade Falcon now has 3 points, while the Periphery has 1 point. It got a point for being able to contest the Juno objective. We still lose initiative. As a matter of fact, we haven't won it yet. We keep losing it, and now it's even worse. The gold objective is now completely dependent on the maneuvers of those last few units down there holding on desperately every turn that they can to keep contesting it so that we keep getting points. Clan Jade Falcon will lose the game if they manage to lose this objective, because they can only contest the northern objective. They need to hold on to the southern objective. But Chromium Pigeon knows what's at stake here, and they go all in, throwing in the Dayashi, Vulture, Warhammer, all into the objective, because they know it's just as important, or if not more important, to them than it is to us. We drop off the infantry, the elementals begin huffing it out into the open towards the objective, while the Vulture Seed begins pulling back under force withdrawal. It's received too many crits in different locations. It has to force withdraw just on structure damage alone. Jade Falcon, fully aware of the situation, throws the entire air support contingent down to the south, while Clan Chromium Pigeon opens up all the safeties and begins what we like to refer to clown buttoning their way to victory as they alpha strike with everything they can against the Nightwolf. If the Nightwolf goes down this turn, it will decide the strategy for the next couple turns. If they don't, they have the potential to lose the game. As a result, the Nightwolf loses armor on nearly every location. It receives a double PSR in response, and it is looking disastrous. Nothing explodes, it's mostly in one piece, if those pieces are shed all over the hill nearby. But in the process of trying to shake them off, the Wu Sun manages to streak down, tag the back of the Dayashi, and manages to take the entire back armor section off. Multiple laser hits, multiple streak SRM hits, and they manages to core through the center torso and cause enough gyro and engine damage to put it into force withdrawal by itself. If it wasn't bad enough, it also has significant overheating problems. It would have shut down on its own. The pilot falls down and there's an ammo explosion in the center and the left torso. It is an absolute disaster for the Dayashi as he ends in one turn, while the Vulture does an imitation of the same maneuver as its LRM ammo explodes, and the Uller manages to swing around, make called shots against the Vulture, immobile on the ground, and destroys it as well. It's a disaster for the Taurians and Clan Chromium Pigeon. Knowing what was at stake, and even though at the end of the turn we're at both 4 points, what it really boils down to is that they understand that with no ability to actually contest the southern objective anytime soon, we were going to just run the timer out. It was pretty clear that we were going to win. Now, you might be able to make a strong argument that the Warhammer might have at least forced a draw in the long run, but my opponent was kind enough to at least acknowledge that it was not in any kind of condition to take on all the light assets we could have thrown at it, the Wu Sun, and the Uller that was just around the corner. The MVP of the game, though, was most definitely the green Wu Sun, or green lead. He was awesome. Managing to take out that Dayashi at the very end won the game. No doubt about it. And that's been an Ouchies Batrep. And thanks for watching. And check out the Facebook page. We made a Battletech Pandemonium chapter for members.